สวัสดีค่ะ Welcome to Hot Thai Kitchen. So today I am making an awesome noodle dish called mee gati. Now mee is short for sen mee, which means a very thin rice noodles, and gati is coconut milk. So it's a pink noodle dish with a coconut gravy on top. It's so good, and I like to call it the creamy sister of pad thai because as you'll see, there are a lot of elements that are very similar between the two. Now, it's been a long time since I've had this, years and years, so thank you Jason from Malaysia for requesting this. You reminded me how much I love it. So let's get started. Alright, so I'm gonna start by making what I call the coconut gravy. So I'm gonna add some of my coconut milk, just a little bit, into this pot here. And now I'm just gonna let it reduce until it's really thick. So once the coconut milk is reduced and broken, so notice the coconut oil has started to break along the edges, that's your cue to add the shallots. If you're using canned coconut milk, sometimes it doesn't split quite like that. That's okay. Just reduce it until it's thick and then keep going with the recipe. So after just about a minute and the shallots start to soften, I'm gonna add my ground pork. And if you don't eat pork, you can also do chicken. You can also do crumbled tofu if you wanna make this vegetarian. And now, really quickly, break up the pieces. So once your pork is no longer in big clumps, I'm gonna add the rest of my coconut milk. Something about the smell of shallots and coconut milk. It's so good. Now I'm gonna add all my seasoning, palm sugar. So I've got some finely chopped, well, not finely chopped, coarsely chopped palm sugar here. It'll have plenty of time to dissolve. And tamarind. So this is gonna be sort of a sweet and sour sauce. So palm sugar and tamarind, see, those are already similar to pad thai, right, in terms of flavor. Now the salty, this is where it differs from pad thai. Pad thai uses fish sauce, but in this recipe, I'm using tau jiew, and tau jiew is fermented soybean paste, and I've just mashed it with my fork, so to break up the soybeans a little bit, but this is sort of like our miso. If you don't have it, you can substitute miso instead. I like to add a little bit of sriracha to it. It brightens up the color a little bit and adds a little kick. Just subtle, you know, you don't want this super spicy. There you go. So now I'm gonna let this simmer and reduce until thick. It won't take very long. So the sauce has been reducing for about maybe 7 minutes, but I'm gonna add one last thing, and that is pressed tofu. And it's just tofu that's very firm, so it won't break even if you toss it around. It's got texture of maybe cheddar cheese. It's that firm, so it's perfect for this kind of thing. And I'm gonna toss it in, and I'll let the tofu simmer with the sauce for just 1 more minute so the tofu absorbs some of that flavor. All right, so I'm gonna add some shrimp, but this is completely optional. So if you want to serve this to guests and you want it to look a little more impressive, a few shrimp thrown into the sauce will do the trick. And the shrimp will take 30 more seconds to cook, and then the sauce is done. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make shredded omelet. So I'm gonna make a very thin omelet, almost like a crepe, and then shred it up, and that'll get sprinkled on top. It's a very iconic look. Let's deal with the mee part of mee gati. So sen mee is thin rice noodles. Now these come dry. It's available at any Asian grocery store. Soak them in room temperature water for 5 minutes, and then I drain them, and then they're soft and pliable just like this. Now mee gati noodles are typically tinted pink, and people use different things to achieve that color, and I'm not really sure what's the original pink color. Some people use ketchup, some people use yentafo sauce. Remember the pink noodle soup that I use? Some people add that sauce. So I'm gonna show you sort of my own version. It's simple, it's quick, and I use red bean curd. So this is the same bean curd that I used in my yentafo video. So if you want a refresher on what this is, you can check out that video. I'll put the link right up here. And it comes in a jar like this, and you can get it at Chinese grocery stores. So this is a type of fermented soy, and it's got an interesting aroma, but Once we put it together with everything else, it'll be very mild. You won't really taste it. Mash the curd with my fork, and it's very, very soft, so it's very easy to do. So my wok is not on yet. And then here's the gati part, coconut milk. And it'll help sort of enrich the noodles because we're not adding any oil to the noodles. So all the fat is coming from the coconut milk. See, the pink color is coming through already, right? And those little lumps, they'll go away. I'm gonna season it a little bit with some vinegar for some tartness and a touch of sugar. Now, a lot of people, I'll tell you this, just use ketchup. So if you're feeling lazy or you can't find one of these, you can just use ketchup and coconut milk. And I'm gonna also dilute it a little bit with some water because I find the commercial coconut milk is quite rich and it makes the noodles a little too rich for my liking. All right, I'm gonna bring this to a boil. Okay, so now that it's boiling like this, the noodles are gonna go in and then, and yes, it looks like a lot of liquid right now. Don't worry, the noodles will soak it all up. Beautiful. See, it's all absorbed. And these noodles don't actually mush as easily as you might think, even though they're quite thin. Okay, I'm gonna finish these off with some vegetables. This is actually what's gonna make this smell kind of like pad thai. Garlic chives and bean sprouts going in. Give it a quick toss. Now off the heat now, actually. Very nice. And the noodles will be mild tasting because remember, we've got all that rich coconut sauce going on top. And that is it. We're ready to assemble. And when you serve mee gati, you want to serve the sauce separately because you want the guests to do the honor of pouring the sauce on the noodles. The pink noodles, I just love that color. Look at that. The bean sprouts and the garlic chives really help lighten the dish up. So put a lot in, okay? There's not really too much bean sprouts or garlic chives. And I'm actually gonna put some extra. And yes, in Thailand, people can just like yum, yum, yum on it like a bunny. That's okay to do. The sauce is rich. You want that lime, that fresh citrusy tartness to cut the grease. Remember the eggs? Yes. I always want to put a little bit of roasted chili flakes on the side. This is quite a rich dish, and if you don't have any spicy at all, you know, it's kind of, but when you add that little extra bit of spice, it just, woo, you know, suddenly it's a lot of fun to eat, then it doesn't feel as heavy. So as much as you can tolerate, it doesn't have to be super spicy. Look at that, that is mee gati. This is food fit for the royals right here. I wish you could smell it. Oh, it smells so good. Squeeze a lime. And some of that chilies. Give it a toss, and you don't need a lot of sauce. You just need enough to moisten the noodles. Want to make sure I get some tofu in there, some egg. Sweet and sour, creamy and rich, yet that richness is balanced by the spiciness and the tart lime juice and the crunchy bean sprouts and the tofu. I love how the tofu actually absorbs quite a bit of that flavor. It is so good. Like, I've completely forgotten how good this is. It's been a while, and in my head I kind of felt like this is a lot of work, but it really isn't, especially if you get a chance to make the sauce in advance. The noodles are really quick, right? Oh, so good. I hope you give this a try, and it's so pretty. What a great way to serve special guests, right? Or even if that special guest is just you. So I hope you give it a try. The recipe will be on hotthaikitchen.com. When you make it, send me a photo on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram, and I will see you next time for your next delicious Thai meal. You know, the word dead meat is redundant. Did you notice that?
Yes.
Because meat is clearly already dead.
But no, I hadn't really thought about it, so.
You're dead meat. Well, you mean just meat. You're meat.
See, that doesn't sound very cool.